Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here on WTXL Midday. I'm Kelly Bartoli. It is Inauguration Day here in the capital city, just minutes away from Governor Rick Scott being sworn in to his second term. Let's take a live look now from that ceremony in downtown Tallahassee.
Mary.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Buemler. I'm a facilities engineer at Mitsubishi Hitachi in Orlando, Florida. I grew up in St. Petersburg, then attended the University of Central Florida, which I graduated this past August. It's always been my goal to build a career in Florida so I can be close to my family and friends and stay in a state that I love so much. When I started out taking classes at UCF, I heard a lot of horror stories from my classmates and friends about how difficult the job market was, and a lot of people were taking less than desirable jobs. To get a job in my field, I realized I would have to get an internship. Mitsubishi provided that for me in 2012, then they later hired me on full-time. Mitsubishi not only gave me an opportunity, but other families an opportunity by opening up international headquarters in Lake Mary, Florida this last year. And I'm glad Mitsubishi and other companies like them are able to grow and expand in the state of Florida. Thank you.
Now the swearing in of Pam Bondi as Florida's Attorney General.
Please place your left hand on the Bible.
And we will have continuing coverage of all those ceremonies coming up tonight on the news at 5, 5:30, and 6. Another major event happening today. Same-sex couples in the state of Florida now able to apply for marriage licenses. At the stroke of midnight, Florida's ban on same-sex marriages ended statewide. Clerks in the Orlando area and South Florida actually started issuing those licenses to couples right after midnight. A judge in Miami found no need to wait, actually started issuing the licenses before all of the others. Here locally, couples got the go-ahead at midnight. Happening right now on WTXL Midday, authorities in Lowndes County need your help to identify a woman who died after being hit by a truck on Highway 84 East this morning. It happened around 7 o'clock this morning. The driver, John Bradfield, thought he hit a deer. Once deputies in the Georgia State Patrol arrived, though, they found a woman looking to be in her mid-30s. She is a white female with brown hair, about 5'2". If you have any information, call 229-333-5215. An update now to a story we first brought you last week. We now know the identity of the teen found dead near Chapman Pond on New Year's Eve. He has now been identified as 17-year-old Nicholas Doss, a senior at Godby High School. Doss's body was found last week after it was discovered by crews working in that area. Now, his family will be presented with an honorary diploma during Godby's commencement ceremony in June, and grief counselors will also be available for any students or staff in need. DeAndre Hudson was arrested at a home in Tallahassee yesterday in connection to Doss's murder. Investigators believe Hudson had gotten into a fight with the victim before allegedly shooting and killing him. Now, police had been watching Hudson since Sunday. That's when they saw him get into a car with 21-year-old Kenny Sharp. Officers followed that car, eventually stopped it using a, quote, intervention technique. Authorities say at some point Sergeant Brian Davis felt threatened, so he fired his weapon, shooting Sharp. Both Sharp and Hudson took off into a nearby neighborhood. Now, a canine unit did catch up with Sharp. He was taken to the hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. As per policy, Sergeant Davis has been placed on administrative leave. Looking now from your news up and down Florida this afternoon, a tanker truck driver seriously hurt this morning after a crash in St. Petersburg. Authorities say that tanker truck collided with a utility truck. The impact spilled nearly 10,000 gallons of fuel, which quickly ignited. The tanker truck driver suffered second and third degree burns to more than half of his body. The driver of the utility truck was treated for facial injuries at a local hospital. SpaceX has scrapped this morning's launch of its latest resupply mission to the International Space Station. NASA says the launch was called off due to unspecified issues. SpaceX plans to use this mission to try and land its Falcon 9 rocket's first stage on a floating platform. The next possible launch attempt is Friday morning. And I gotta say, during sunrise this morning, both myself and meteorologist Max Apar is keeping a close eye on this SpaceX launch. You had it up there. We were like counting down, and then it just
and then the countdown clock disappeared.
And then it just kind of ended.
It happens once in a while.
Hopefully Friday morning we can get another go.
And here's the thing, though. We always say better safe than sorry. That's why they go through the procedures to see if there's any technical issues, and that shows that something did come up this morning. So we're going to try again Friday morning, getting Falcon 9 up into the sky. Hopefully a successful mission there, and hopefully all the technical issues will be taken care of as well. Technically speaking, we have a pretty pleasant day out there. We're talking about temperatures this afternoon in the upper 50s. Pretty nice. We have some high, thin clouds. We'll call it some mostly sunny skies, though, out there. 59 is where we're at right now in Tallahassee. 57 in Thomasville, 60 in Valdosta with some more high, thin clouds there. So today it looks like the last mild day in that forecast. We're talking about a big cool down, a big drop in the temperatures as we go into the next couple of days here. Here's a view from Lee Elementary School. Kids are back in session over in Madison County. Yeah, the high thin clouds filtering through the sky. That's pretty much it. This does indicate that there's a little bit of moisture to work with today, but the moisture stream will be cut off as we go into tonight and into tomorrow morning. That's going to be our next weather maker pushing into the region. You can see just a few clouds today, but that's pretty much it. We're going to be talking about a big cool down here as we go into tonight and more so for tomorrow. In your full storm team weather report, we're going to update you on a couple tornadoes that ended up touching down on Sunday in south central Georgia and where exactly those were. We're going to discuss a lot more about this frigid weather pattern we're going to be stuck in and some more rain chances as well in that extended outlook. You got to stick around for that forecast. You don't want to miss it because it is going to get cold, and we'll let you know how cold in just a few minutes. Kelly?
Max, thank you. We're taking a look at news now from across the world right now. Rough weather yet again casting a dark cloud in the search for AirAsia Flight 8501. Divers never even got into the water today as the forecast continues to complicate the hunt for that doomed plane. The clock is ticking in the search for the elusive pings and black box. Meanwhile, 2 more bodies have been recovered from the Java Sea, bringing the total now to 39 of the 162 people on board. 2 New York City police officers shot and wounded Monday night while responding to a robbery. Now authorities are looking for those responsible. They're currently searching the city for 2 male suspects. Newly released surveillance video shows one of the suspects actually at a shop window, then turning and firing a gun. The suspects are described as Hispanic men between 25 and 30 years old.
Investigators were notified of a male who had entered Columbia Presbyterian Hospital in Upper Manhattan with a gunshot wound to the back. Detectives are currently investigating any possible connection to this previous incident.
One of the officers was shot in the back, the other in the elbow. Both, though, are expected to be okay. It comes just weeks after those 2 other officers were killed while they were sitting in their patrol cars. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has announced widespread flu activity now in 43 states. The CDC says just this week, 6 children have died from the flu. That's now 21 pediatric deaths so far this flu season. Now, experts have warned of a mismatch of the strains in the flu vaccine, saying one of the flu viruses mutated, becoming the more severe H3N2 strain. Still, though, you are encouraged to get that flu shot. It can still reduce your risk and provide some protection from the virus. Republicans take control of the Senate today and the Keystone Pipeline at the top of their agenda. The supporters say the pipeline, which would transport crude oil from Canada to the U.S. Gulf Coast, would pump money into the U.S. economy. Critics, though, warn long-delayed projects could be bad for the environment. Now, even if the Senate approves the pipeline, many expect President Obama will veto that. Much more to come here as WTXL Midday continues. Max Apar standing by with another check of that chilly forecast, plus the Panhandle Archaeological Society of Tallahassee joining us live in the studio. We've got everything you need to know about a big event coming up tonight. Don't go away.